What's going on, guys? Jerry Neutron here with the newest 1080p gaming card from NVIDIA. This is the EVGA GeForce GTX 960 Super Clocked Edition. So this card is targeted towards the mainstream 1080p gamer and is intended to compete with the R9 285 from AMD. So we're going to see if this card is worthy of being the mainstream GPU. But first, let's take a look at it. So this card is factory overclocked with a 1279 MHz base clock and 1342 MHz boost clock compared to the reference speeds of 1127 and 1178. It has a 1750 MHz memory clock along with 1024 CUDA cores and 2 GB of VRAM on a 128-bit bus. Now immediately the memory does cause some concern because the quote-unquote next-gen games, even at 1080p, are currently pushing VRAM limits with higher res textures, so yeah, but a little bit more on that later. Now if we take a look at the card itself, the first thing you'll notice is the ACX 2.0 cooler with its large black fan shroud and two 11-blade dual ball bearing fans. And with the card only having a 120 watt TDP, there should be no issues keeping the card cool. And a bonus with this specific card is that the fans do not turn on until the temps reach 60 degrees Celsius, so your card will not only be cool, but quiet as well. And I think this card would work well in a mini ITX build, considering those things and the fact that the card is only 10.1 inches long. If we take a look underneath the shroud, we can see the heat fins run in length of the card, a memory MOSFET cooling plate, as well as 3 8mm copper heat pipes. On the other end, there's an 8-pin PCIe connector to power the card. Now you'll notice EVGA uses an 8-pin connector versus a 6-pin connector that other manufacturers use. So this is just to give you a little extra boost when overclocking, so this card should have the potential for higher overclocks over the other 960s. You also get a dual BIOS switch, which oddly enough there's almost no mention of in the documentation. I do believe though that the second BIOS has a more performance-oriented fan curve and a small performance increase. There's also an SLI connector just in case you want to run another 960, but if that's your plan, just stop and buy a 970. On the I/O side, you get 3 DisplayPort 1.2 connectors, as well as an HDMI 2.0 and dual-link DVI port. So they give you a little flexibility display-wise, and you can actually run up to 4 4K displays at a time on this card. As for accessories, well, there isn't much. EVGA gives you an 8-pin PCIe connector, a DVI to VGA adapter, and some documentation. So that's it as far as the card itself. Let's install it and see how it performs. So as you can see, the GTX 960 is a decent performer at 1080p. It's not going to max out every game at that resolution, but if you don't mind playing on medium or high settings, it should be just fine. Also, you do get some nice features like G-Sync compatibility, MFAA, DSR, Shadow Play, and even Precision X, so that may weigh in on your decision to get this card. Personally, I think NVIDIA should have given this card more power out of the box and have it sit in between its current performance and the 970. And that would have made it a great 1080p card, so let's just hope the 960 Ti rumors are true. Now let me know down in the comments what you think about the 960 and whether this is a card you would consider purchasing. So that's about it, guys. A link is in the description if you want to pick one of these up. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful or entertaining, and subscribe for more similar content. And until next time, guys, see ya. Setting that the sound lacks a little detail. The headset seems to have a slight emphasis on the high end, with the mids